Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to explore a simple, timeless story, a fable, with a really powerful lesson about how to find some quiet in our very, very busy lives.
So let's just take a short journey together into a tale that holds a pretty amazing secret to calming the mind. It's a story that, might just change the way you think about your own thoughts.
All right, so our story starts with a young man. He's only 24 years old, and his name is Marco. And Marco, well, he has a problem that I think a lot of us can probably relate to. His mind was just never, ever quiet. It was always buzzing with thoughts. You see, Marco was completely stuck. His mind was like this pendulum, constantly swinging back and forth between regrets about things that had already happened and a ton of anxiety about what might happen in the future. And this endless cycle, as you can imagine, just left him drained, he couldn't sleep well, and he'd honestly forgotten what it felt like to have a real smile. So, feeling totally lost in this storm inside his head, Marco starts to hear these whispers about a wise old man who lived a quiet life way out in the hills. This man used to be a psychologist, and folks said he had this gift for helping people find their inner calm. Marco knew he had to go find him. Holding on to this one little sliver of hope, Marco set off on a really long and tiring journey. He was totally driven by this one idea, that maybe, just maybe, this man held the key to finally quieting the storm in his mind. After days of travel, Marco finally makes it to this small, peaceful little house just covered in greenery. He meets the old man, explains his problem, and the wise man just listens and smiles this really calm smile. And then he gives Marco a task, a very, very strange task. Now, this task didn't start with some ancient scroll or a complex meditation technique. Nope, it all began with something incredibly ordinary, just a single glass. The old man takes the glass and fills it up with water, and I mean right to the very, very top. It was so full that the tiniest little shake, the smallest misstep, would make it spill everywhere. So here was the instruction. Marco had to walk all the way to the edge of the village and then all the way back holding this glass, and he could not spill a single drop. It sounded so simple, but the path ahead, well, let's just say it was anything but. I mean, picture this. The path was narrow and it was just chaotic. You had people rushing past him, shopkeepers yelling out to customers, dogs barking like crazy. It was basically a perfect storm of distractions, almost designed to break his focus. And yet, Marco comes back to the wise man. He's done it. Not a single drop was spilled. But when the old man asks him, "So, what did you see? What did you hear?" Marco was just floored. He realized his focus was so absolute, so totally centered on that glass, that he hadn't noticed any of the chaos around him at all. And the wise man just smiles. He knew Marco had finished the task, but now it was time for the real lesson. You see, it was never about the water. It was about the mind. This one simple question was the key that unlocked everything. He hadn't heard the dogs, or the people, or the shopkeepers. Why? Because his entire world, his whole consciousness, had shrunk down to just the shimmering surface of the water in that glass. The old man explained that the peace Marco had just felt wasn't some kind of magic trick. It's our natural state. By focusing completely on the present, there was literally no mental space left for his mind to drift into the past or worry about the future. The storm had passed. And this, right here, is the heart of the story. Marco traveled so far, searching for something, but the wise man showed him that peace was never out there to be found. It was already inside him, just waiting to be uncovered by living completely in the now. So, that's a lovely story, right? But how does Marco and his glass of water actually help us in our daily lives? Let's break down how we can take this ancient wisdom and apply it, right now. At its core, this story gives us a really practical definition of inner peace. It's not about trying to empty your mind, which is pretty much impossible. Instead, it's about filling your mind so completely with the now that there's just no room left for all that other noise. We can actually do this in 3 simple steps. First, just acknowledge the storm. That means noticing your thoughts are racing, but without judging them or getting swept away. Just see them for what they are, like clouds passing by. They're just temporary events in your mind, they're not facts. Second, choose your glass of water. This is your anchor to the present moment. It could be the feeling of your breath moving in and out, or the warmth of a coffee mug in your hands. Just pick something simple. And finally, and this is the most important part, just gently return your focus. Your mind is going to wander. That's what minds do. When it happens, don't get frustrated. Just gently and kindly guide your attention back. This isn't a fight, it's a practice of just gently redirecting over and over again. So our hero, Marco, he didn't leave with some magic potion. He left with a deep understanding. He wasn't the same restless young man he was at the start of our story. He was transformed because he now held the secret to his own peace. And so that brings us to a final question, just for you. As you're listening to my voice, where is your attention? Is it right here, in this moment? Or is your mind already drifting to what happened today, or worrying about what's next? The fable of the restless mind is just a simple reminder. Peace isn't somewhere else. It's right here. It's always just one present moment away.